What's going on, people? So listen, let's talk about business funding. Now listen, before you start a business, you want to get as much funding and resources as you can. I'm talking about revolving credit, so business lines of credit, business credit card, business overdraft, grants, net 30 accounts, support services, network groups. So you want to get as much resources and be in the right circle, in the right association with people, so you can, right? You can feed up from them. You can extract information from them. Now listen, let's talk about support services, right? Support services is very important. Being in a group, being in a membership, being in a circle with people, like-minded people, so you can get this information. So that's why I have the Funding Academy. I'm going to leave the link below, because in the Funding Academy, this is where I provide you support so you can get business funding, so you can know how to position your personal credit, structure your business, and know where to go, which banks to apply with. So support, being in a circle or in a membership, right? Receiving that support is very important, because that will enable you to expedite your goals, to expedite your businesses. So in the Funding Academy, I'm going to leave the link below. This is a 1-year academy where you get support. There's question and answer support from me. There's training videos. There's lender database to help you get business funding so you can start your business. Because listen to this. See, there's a lot of gurus online, business gurus that are going to tell you, that are telling you to start a business. But one thing about a business is, listen, you need capital. You need to be well capitalized. You need to have capital, because listen, it's easy to start a business, but you need capital to scale your business, to grow your business, and you need capital to stay in business. So that's why before you start your business, you want to make sure you're tapping into all these revolving credit, right? Now, revolving credit, not installment loans, right? Because there's a difference between revolving credit, right, and installment loan. So installment loan is a loan, because if you get a loan today, you got to start making payments on that loan next month. Now, if you are in your inception phase, where you're still trying to formulate your business model, you're still trying to do your market research, you don't have time to get a loan, right? Because listen, once you get a loan, you need to start making payments on that loan. So loans are really made for businesses that are already operating, businesses that are already generating revenue. So if you are a startup, if you are trying to figure out your business idea, then you need to get revolving credit, business lines of credit, business credit card, business overdraft, business, business lines with banks and credit unions. So that's why in the Funding Academy, this is where I support you. This is where I have the support services, right? Because in the Funding Academy, there's training videos, there's a lender database, there's grants, there's links to lenders, there is a Q&A session, right? Question and answer support, so you can ask me a question. You see, you need support when you're starting the business, because you need as much resources as you can. Because listen, because you're going to run into obstacles, you're going to run into challenges when you're doing when you are starting your business, when you're growing your business, and you need funding. You need as much capital as you can get. Because listen, what happens if your business or your website goes down, right? Because you don't have the funds, you don't have the money to keep it rolling, or you don't have the money to keep the subscription rolling. You can't wait until your customer pays you to get your website up. No, this is why business credit cards, right? Business lines of credit. This is why it's important. It's essential that you have these lines. You have these revolving credit, revolving capital. So that way, listen, even if you don't need it, because listen, here's my philosophy. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. You see, it's better to have these revolving credit product, lines of credit, business lines of credit, business credit card. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, people. So that's why before you start your business, get as much funding as you can. Funding and resources, right? Revolving credit from the banks, credit union, fintech, grants from provincial government, from federal government, net 30 accounts from vendors and suppliers, support services, whether it's support services from different government, different organization, and the Funding Academy, because this is why I created the Funding Academy, to support you. That's why I'm going to leave the link below in the description section and also in the comment section, because listen, the Funding Academy is here to help you. I'm here to support you. So that way, when you are applying for business credit, right, you come in, you come across a question that you're not familiar with, or you don't know what to do, That's why the Funding Academy is about. You can come back to the Funding Academy and ask me a question about about the application before you apply, and I'm going to answer your question. I have resources, training video. Now listen, the price is going up in April, right? By the end of April. So that's why I'm doing these videos, because I'm going to be adding some new services, right? I'm going to be adding, incorporation services where I'm going to, if you want me to incorporate your business, I will incorporate it for you, and then I'll do a one-on-one coaching session or strategy set. So these are some products and services that I'm going to be adding in the Funding Academy. That's why the price is going up in April. I'm going to leave the link below in the description and in the comment section, because listen, you need the support services, right? Because listen, you need to know how to file your annual return with Corporation Canada. You need to know where to go to file your taxes. You need to know how to keep your corporation in good standing. You need to know how to set up your domain name. You need to know how to market. You need to know how to get funding. You need to know how to raise capital. You need all these support services, people, right? That's why it's very important. And then you need a network group. You need to be part of a network group, right? Network, right? Whenever there's a network meetup or, some sort of a business, a business workshop, right? Get involved, right? Get involved with the right people, with the right group of people, people that think like you, people that are trying to, move like you, people that are trying to, execute their business ideas. So you can, you can share, you can exchange ideas, you can exchange insights, you can exchange knowledge, right? So you need to be part of these groups, right? Network groups, association, support groups, support services. That's how you get, right? That's how you get things done. Because now you are in a circle of people that have the information, that have the knowledge, that have access to the information, that have access to the capital, that have access to the contact, right? So that's why in the Funding Academy, this is where you get to communicate with me, right? Because in the Funding Academy, there's also an app. Once you're in, there's the app, there's the web version. If you have the app, you can just communicate with me on the go. So you're learning about business funding, business credit, about businesses, and then you're getting funding on the go because you're able to consume the information, but also apply it. See, that's the good thing. This is the beauty of the Funding Academy, right? Because the information is there, not only the information, but the strategy on how to do it, the links, the lender database, the lender's link, the different lenders, it's all there. So when you are in the Funding Academy, not only are you learning, but you're also utilizing the information. You're also implementing the information in real time, right? Get business funding. Get as much funding as you can before you start your business, because everybody's trying to make, everybody's trying to make business look like it's all sweet. It's all glamorous. No, when you're starting a business, there's nothing glamorous about starting a business, right? It's hard work. You gotta get it out the mud. You gotta grind. You gotta put in that work when you're trying to start a business, right? So that's why having capital, having access to capital, access to resources, access to network, access to people, access to information, access to knowledge, access to the right circle is very important, because you might run into some obstacles, you might run into some, some challenges that you need a support group, right? So that's what I said. Network and support services is very important when you're starting your business, right? Because listen, I always talk about how easy it is to get funding, which is the easy part, but you need to know how to position your personal credit, how to structure your business, and where to apply. So that's why support services is there, right? If you need to know how to incorporate your business, whether to incorporate it federally or to incorporate it provincially, whether to incorporate it as a number company or to incorporate it as a name company. In the Funding Academy, this is the information that I give, information that transforms your life so you can implement it and see result, tangible result, right? And grow and scale your business, because you need capital. Listen, you need capital to scale, to run, and to stay in business, right? Because you're going to get to a point where you have to spend. You got to run ads. You got to run marketing. You got to buy, you got to hire a developer to maintain your website. You got to buy, or you got to hire a graphic designer. You need the capital to do that, right? Because you don't want to get to a point where the business is picking up, but you're not generating enough revenue. Now you have to shut it down because you don't have the funds to keep your website going, right? Or you don't have the fund to renew your domain, to renew your website, right? Because once you get going, now you got to keep it going. So having some capital, having a line of credit, a business credit card, a business credit line, it gives you that ability for you to move, to pivot on the go, right? So if an obstacle, if a challenge, if a roadblock comes your way, then you're able to pivot because you have some capital to kind of, to fight off that obstacle. So listen, that's why having capital is important. That's why the Funding Academy is here to help you get funding, get capital, business lines of credit, business credit card, business, business loans if you want to, right? But I always say you don't want to see. Loans are really for established businesses. So if you're an established business, then you should go for a loan. Or if you're a seasoned business, so if you know what you're doing, then installment loan makes sense, right? But if you don't know what you're doing yet, or if you haven't really formulated your business model, your business idea, if you're still doing your market research, still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, then an installment loan doesn't make any sense during that phase, right, of your business, right? Because in that phase, you don't want to be thinking about, you don't want to be stressing, right, about paying something monthly, right, paying a loan that you haven't even gotten your return on investment on. So having access to revolving credit lines, credit cards, business lines of credit, right, for a startup or somebody that's trying to get into business, or somebody that has a service business, somebody that has an online business, right, it's very important because that allows you to, right, to kind of step back and strategize your next move, right? Because listen, right? Let's say, because I'm talking about getting as much funding and resources that you can before you start your business, right? So if you're working full-time or if you're working part-time, you have income that's coming in from your part-time or your full-time job. And then you have access, and then you have your revolving credit product, your lines of credit, right? And then you have other resources, networks, support services. So you have all these resources to help you get your business off the ground, to help you, strategically implement not just the information, but to also know how to navigate when it comes to, taking that idea from just an idea to really, from just conceptualizing it to actually putting it into action. So listen, that's why I'm here to support you, because I have the Funding Academy. I'm going to leave the link below. The Funding Academy is an online academy. It's a one-year academy where once you're in, there's training videos. There's resources, not just about funding, about business, about marketing. There's ebooks, there's checklists, right? And then there's question and answer support. This is where I support you. So if you have any question, you can always ask in the Funding Academy, so you can get the information that will transform your life, so you can listen. Right now, with everything that's going on, with inflation, with the cost of living, and Bank of Canada, right, not bringing down the interest rate, listen, you are being forced to start a business, because with all this going on, with all these economic cycle, with inflation, with the interest rates being so high, right, with the cost of living, listen, you have to start something, right? You have to start something. And to start something, you need capital. You need to be well capitalized. You need to be over capitalized. That's why having revolving credit, right, it gives you have access to capital. So when an opportunity presents itself, you can just tap into that revolving line of credit, business line of credit. So listen, in the Funding Academy, this is where I teach you how to position your personal credit, how to structure your business, and how to apply for funding with the different banks and credit unions. So that way you're getting these funding, these high limit funding, $50,000, $25,000, right? Because listen, it's all about how you position your personal credit, how you structure it, and which banks, right? Because that's the formula. Personal credit, business structure, and knowing which banks to go with. So listen, I'm out of here. I'm going to see you all in the next video. I am out.